Hey everybody, hello. I'm about to do a video review of, every once in a while I like to review other quote unquote educators. And in this case, I'm going to talk about a company called TastyTrade. Now, I like to start off with the positive and kind of work my way into the negative. And TastyTrade is basically run by these two schmoes right here. Okay? No offense when I call them schmoes, they're just a couple of characters, right? And don't quote me on this, but the way that I understand it, and I don't know if it's 100% true, I haven't done my homework, but these two guys were the founders of the platform Think or Swim. If you don't know Think or Swim platform, it's a fantastic platform that is absolutely amazing, and it was ultimately bought out by a company called TD Ameritrade. But so let's talk about the positives. Okay, the positives are there is a boatload of free education. Just absolute streams and streams and streams of free education. And as you can see, they actually have a huge crew, right? So when you go to their website, tastytrade.com, they don't sell anything. There's nothing that they sell. So that should be the first clue. How are all of these people getting paid to do all of this free education? Well, my guess, and again, do not quote me on it, my guess is that they are still taking a piece of the action from all the trades that are going on in Thinkorswim. Why else? How else could you afford to do all of this free education? Okay? So that's the first red flag you should be aware of. And there's nothing wrong with Thinkorswim wanting to give you free education. That's perfectly fine. But what is the conflict of interest? Well, Thinkorswim happens to be a brokerage platform that makes money how? Do they make money by being nice guys? No, they make money by commission. And if you go through this website, what they will teach you is a style of trading where you're selling tons and tons and tons of premium. In a lot of cases, some of it is naked or has unlimited risk. And this is where I take issue with the company. Now, this happens to be a typical type of Thinkorswim or trade where they want you to do strangles, which you're collecting credit. But I want you to notice the risk graphs here. Unlimited. Unlimited. Okay? And so this is my problem. What they want you to do is do as many of these as you possibly can that are way out of the money, right? If I look at if we look at these trades that I put on here, they love 5 and 10 deltas, right, out of the money. They want you to sell all that premium as much as possible. Put as many of those trades on as you possibly can, and then manage your risk if anything goes wrong. Well, what could possibly go wrong, right? What could possibly go wrong? Now, one of their famous traders that they used to promote a long time ago is called Karen the Super Trader. Now, 5 or 6 years ago, she was one of their quote unquote rising stars. And they would say she made $41 million selling these types of trades, right? And SJ Options, salute out to them. They did a whole expose on why she lost trades. And you can see here by the risk graph that they're even putting here that they figured it out a long time ago, right? But anyways, I don't want to go too much into that. So why am I coming down on these guys? Because every time you go to their website, you think they're selling you something, or you think they're teaching you something that is actually good, but it's crazy effing dangerous because they're too lazy to figure out the most important part of any options trade is getting your direction right. Okay, now again, I'm actually not, I'm not going to hate on them too much. They are what they are. If you want a bunch of free education and you don't want to pay for it, and it's good education, but the underlying strategy has a motive behind it. And that motive is to get you to trade as much as you possibly can so that you can generate as much commission as possible so they can pay all of these salaries. Now, again, I'm not 100% sure of that, right? But why else would all of these people be working for free? Right? It's the only thing that makes any sense. Now, it also appeals to a lot of people that like math because their entire strategy is to try to stay as delta neutral, trade as much as you can. If you go to their playlists, I think they probably have it here, these rising stars. If you check out their rising stars video, the funny thing is, like the Karen one, the funny thing is that they only have the person on once and then you never hear from that person ever again. Right? And they have all these videos of these rising stars. Let me see if I can find a couple here. And you never hear from them because again, the strategy that they're teaching is heavy commissionally edged, and it's also it's also just a ticking time bomb, just like Karen. Right? It's just a matter of time before a black swan occurs and boom, you're screwed. Right? Now, again, I'm not going to claim to know their entire strategy because I don't. I've only spent a little bit of time, over the last 5 years, I've come and gone to this website probably, 100 times because, whenever I want to look up, strangle management, it's free. It's a great education on strangle management, right? But again, my critique on them is that they still don't get it. They still don't get the most important part of any options trade is that you must get directional bias right. Without directional bias, just trying to work the math and probabilities is eventually a sucker's game. And especially on the assets these guys are promoting. These guys are promoting like teaching you to trade assets on the SPX and other assets that are very heavily traded by the smartest people in the world that know the math way more than you ever will. But yet they're trying to teach you how to exploit the math in those situations. Never gonna fucking happen. Right? You can beat the SPX for a very short period of time, but ultimately, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 years, the market makers in this that know the math much better than you ever will are going to crush you, and you're going to eventually pay a big price for that. Okay? So my critique on Tasty Trades is buyer beware. All right, buyer beware. Great free explanation. I'm not going to lie to you. I visit the site if ever I want to learn how to manage an iron fly or how to manage a debit spread. I'll go here. Congratulations. They should stick to that though. My critique of them is I think they're really sketchy and I think they're really shady and I think they're getting a piece of the action from Thinkorswim and trying to promote retail traders to overtrade. If you listen to especially some of their rising star guys, they're trading like 3,500 trades a year, 7,000 trades a year, right? I watched one earlier today where a guy took 7,000 trades in 1 year. Okay, so that being said, good, excellent free education. Bad, their primary strategy, heavily commission based, heavily trade based, over trading, non-directional. They still don't get it. They need to have me on this fucking show so I can teach them to teach people how to learn to get a directional, right? Until you learn how to get direction right, trying to beat the smartest people in the world just by out deltaing them is a time bomb. Just like Karen the super trader, It's a time bomb waiting to happen. You will eventually blow your account, and the only one that's going to ultimately win from that is Thinkorswim. Okay? That's why they only have 100,000 subscribers. You'd think with all this free information they'd have 500,000 or 1,000,000 because it's good content. But they got to stop. They got to stop the bullshit of trying to get you to overtrade, and they've got to teach you the most important thing, which is direction matters. You got to learn direction. Okay? Come to a person like me if you want to learn direction. I'm not going to use this so much as a way to promote myself as much as I just want to save people. Take the good from this company, but beware. Their style of trading is over trading and overcoming commission and beating those market makers long term ain't gonna happen. I like these two guys. I like the company. I know I'm saying bad things about it, but it needs to be said. Thank you. Bye for now.